I'm Anil Kumar, and here is another communication question for you from Unit 7, Sequence and Series. When will you use sequence formula versus a series formula? Explained with the help of an example. So I'd like you to pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestion. Now let's see when to use sequence formula or when to use series formula. So that means basically we have to understand what is a sequence and how is it different from series. Now whenever we talk about a sequence, let me give you an example here, is a set of numbers where we are relating each value of the number with respect to its position. For example, if I give you a sequence like this, it means start at 2, add 2 each time. Now first term is the first term given, that's the second term. So here we have term numbers, right? So we have term numbers. So whenever we are talking about term numbers, then we are referring to a sequence. Now in series, what happens? In series, we actually find partial sum. I should write partial sum. That is to say, we'll write the same thing as 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus so on till some limit, right? So when we are talking about sum of arithmetic sequence or sum of a sequence, in that case we are talking about series, right? So that is the distinguishing feature between the two. So series is sum of sequence, sum of, I should say, few or partial, that's a better word. Few, partial. If I use partial, then I can't use terms. Few terms, so it's kind of mix and match. Sum of few terms in a sequence. So whenever you're talking about sum of few terms, you're referring to a series. But when you're talking about the terms themselves, then you're referring to a sequence. Now sequence could be arithmetic or geometric or whatever. In both the cases, whenever we refer to sum, in that case we are referring to series, and whenever we refer to the terms, we are referring to the sequence. So that is how they are different. Now to give you an example which I gave here, we are talking about now a sequence which is 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. Now if I say what is the 10th term, then in that case we are talking about sequence. Do you understand? And we can find the 10th term based on what is given to us. So what is given to us is the first term a, plus we know this is arithmetic, so it is n minus 1 times d. So in our case it will be 2 times 10, I mean a is 2 plus 10 minus 1 times 2, right? So our 10th term for this particular sequence will be 2 plus 10 minus 1 is 9 times 2, and which is 18. So 18 plus 2 is 20. So the 10th term will be 20 for us, right? As far as series is concerned, we'll say what is the sum of first 10 terms. So that is how it is kind of different, right? What is the sum of first 10 terms? Then we'll say, well, the sum of first 10 terms, the formula is n over 2 times a plus n, 2a plus n minus 1 times d, right? That's the formula. So we'll say n is 10. So we'll say 10 over 2 times 2 times the first term, which is 2, plus 10 minus 1, which is 9, and d is 2 for us. So we'll apply the formula for series. So this formula is basically for series, right? And that is for sequence. And then find the answer, right? So we get 5 times 4 plus 18, right? Which is 22 times 5. So we get 22 times 5. Or we can now write down the sum as 110, right? So that is how you can actually give an example to explain the difference. So remember one thing, Whenever we talk about series, it is sum of a sequence. And whenever we're talking about a sequence, we are trying to say that the terms are arranged in a particular fashion, which follow a pattern. So that is what the main difference is. I hope that helps. Thank you.